do not adjust your computer screen. It's your mind we're changing. Stories set to a theme. Think outside. Universe Box.
Upon a time, Mommy was sleeping in her room. Soon she heard this mucky sound. Then the ghost is in the room. Some have 3 eyes, some have 1 eye, some have 2 eyes, some have 3 eyes, some have 4 eyes, some have 5 eyes, some have 6 eyes, some have 7, some have 8, some have 9, some have 10. A ghost is in the room.
From the heavens to your ears, this is Universe Box, and we're tied to this podcast until we complete our unfinished business. Ooh. I'm Bill Ghost Meeks.
And I'm just laughing. No, I'm Anne-Marie DeSimone. I can't see.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll be able to see eventually. It'll be fine.
Just look through the one eye hole.
That might be better for you. And we also have our chat room here, which if you don't know, we record this show every Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. EST at live.universebox.com.
I should have been nearly headless Nick.
But I guess, Ghost Anne-Marie, I guess we should go ahead and see what's in the box this week, right?
Oh, this will be interesting.
Yes, it should be, definitely.
Okay, let's see if we can see what's in the box. Okay.
If you can grab the box through your ghost sheet.
Okay.
We wore costumes tonight, people. It's cool.
It's fine. It's great.
I am seeing in the chat room people are saying, Ghost. And yes, this week we are talking about Ghost. We'll sit down in front of the Idiot Box to watch a classic Casper caper. Then we'll usher you into the box theater to discuss what happens when the Scooby Gang meets an actual ghost. In the school box, we'll teach you about fictional phantasms. Phantasms?
No.
Phantasms. It's hard talking with this sheet, man. Anne-Marie tells us the tale of the haunted person memory box. And finally, we'll drop the box and answer some of your questions you submitted through the idea box. We're off to a rousing start tonight. Bobby's in the chat room. I think we're about ready to go. Anne-Marie, you can go ahead and retrieve that box if you want to real quick.
I can't.
Oh, you can't reach it? Okay, that's fine
well,
then.
I think I can, but not as a ghost.
It happens. We'll leave it go. Okay, so first up, we're going to go ahead and open up the Idiot Box. Now, in the Idiot Box, we sit back and make fun of films and TV shows from the past. This week, we're catching up with Casper, the friendly ghost of Richie Rich. He's the ghost of Richie Rich, if you didn't know. In a classic cartoon, A Haunting We Will Go. And let me go ahead and get it loaded up here. Angel in the chat room says, grim grinning ghosts come out to socialize. Love that song. Okay, let's go with the Idiot Box. Casper. Novel tune, color by Technicolor.
Paramount.
A famous studios production. Yeah, you know what the real problem with wearing the ghost costume is? Is that every time I talk, it fogs up my eye holes. Which is
I'm just gonna function in one eye hole.
That's fine. We'll lose them eventually. Right now, we're just having fun with it, right?
Right. That's what this is.
It's totes okay.
Haunting we will go.
Now, if I could only see my mixing board.
I don't think anyone ever really believes in ghosts or ghost stories.
Really?
Some people do.
There is one they tell about an old deserted little red schoolhouse.
Ooh, spooky.
A haunting we will go.
Ghost school.
I want to go to ghost
What do they say
school.
on the board here? Boo onto others as you would have others boo onto you. Unto you.
Like do unto others?
Yes.
Yeah.
And fright makes
right.
Apt little pupils.
I will spook when spoken to. Perfect.
Who just wouldn't
Oh, poor Casper.
Gosh.
He's friendly. Ghosts aren't supposed to be friendly. They're supposed to kill you in your sleep.
What?
You never heard about that?
No.
But it's true.
Okay.
It's definitely true. I always wanted to go to a little schoolhouse like that, out in the middle of a field, like Little House of Little House on the Prairie, Little House of Horrors, Little House of Horrors, bop shabop. You never stop the pourers, little shop.
Find a friend.
Oh, he just looks so fun. Oh, no tortoise.
Are tortoises scared of ghosts?
Let's find out. Yes, they are.
Very much so.
Yep.
He's running blind. I wish I could retract my head into my neck. That'd be nice. So is this just going to be Casper going around and trying to scare various animals, or just trying to befriend them?
I think he's trying to befriend them, but he ends up scaring them.
Yeah, and this is one of the Casper shorts from the 1940s, which is why we're using it, because it's in the public domain.
Ah.
But yeah, so pretty simplistic character back then.
Yeah, nothing too exciting.
Nope. He just likes hanging out with all the animals.
Hi, Duck.
Hi, ducks.
Casper. Can I?
Poor Casper. Is he gonna hatch that egg?
I bet he will, and then it'll call him Mama.
Mama, mama, mama.
Oh, see? You called it.
Nice. Oh, Bobby in the chat room says he had a Disney projector that had a cartoon of Mickey, Donald, and Goofy chasing ghosts. I think I've seen that one, Bobby. A lot of cartoons in the 40s and 50s had ghosts in them. It was like a thing.
Say, aren't you afraid of me?
I don't really like Casper's voice.
No.
Now I have a real friend.
Now I have a real friend.
But only because he's never met another living person, Casper.
Because you're not living.
The second there's someone to compare you to, he's going to run away just like everybody else.
Wow.
In the next few weeks,
Well, I don't want Casper to
you have found a ghost
live in
better
disappointment.
spirits than our little Casper.
I wonder how hard it was for animators back then to animate Casper semi-transparent.
Yeah, really?
Well, I guess if they were doing its cells, they would just have to like fill them in kind of lightly or something like that.
Yeah.
Now you better watch me, because you'll have to learn how to swim.
Random ghost sound number 3 of 52 for this week's episode.
Well, that ought to give you a rough idea how
That
to
voice is not at all what I picture for Casper.
How does Casper like choke on water when he jumps into a lake?
Yeah,
He's a ghost. He shouldn't need to breathe. Sage of Earth ask why we aren't watching the cartoon where the skeletons are dancing. I know the one you're talking about. Bobby says maybe that one's not in the public domain. I'm pretty sure it probably would be, but I grabbed the Casper one. I can't grab another one now.
Too late.
Aww. Ghost spooning with a little bird. Little birdie.
Precious little bird.
How is covering him with the ghost stuff gonna help? Okay, there he goes.
He has a hat.
He fixed
How's
it.
he wearing a hat?
Such a beautiful
I don't know.
thing.
A lot about this ghost thing doesn't add up here. Is he
No, how's he
transparent?
carrying
learn
it?
how to fly sometime.
He's teaching the
He's
bird how to
teaching the
fly?
bird. That's not working. It's
soon
not
it's gonna be a
working.
good.
Save the baby duck!
He's like, I can't be friends with a non-ghost. I'm gonna make you a ghost too, birdie. Drop.
Some ground training first.
He's gonna kill the bird.
No killing the bird.
Kill the birds. Toppins a bag.
Toppins.
Now watch me.
Oh no, I showed the stream my human hands. Now they know.
You try it.
Now they know I'm actually a human. Yeah, and Wynn says in the chat room she read Harvey comics with Casper all the time when she was a kid.
Awesome.
Me too, Wynn. I used to love Harvey comics. Like,
You were allowed? It's a ghost.
well, Casper was kind of hit and miss, but let's see, what else was there? Little Lulu, Baby Huey. Wynn, did you ever hear the rumor that Casper was the dead spirit of Richie Rich? If so, weigh in. How do you feel about that theory? Oh, Angel says, Bill, not a good idea to apply logic to a cartoon. It's less frustrating.
I don't think you should do much flying the first.
Oh, it looked like something bad's gonna happen to the duck.
Where are you?
What?
I think the duck's gonna become a ghost.
Uh-oh. Oh, no, he's playing with a decoy.
Uh-huh.
Mama.
Oh, no.
Those evil hunters. Oh, luckily there are some meteor ducks up there. He'll be fine. Just don't fly, and you'll be good. Oh, stupid
Oh,
bird, you
no.
flew!
No, ducky, no.
Ah! I tell you not to do one thing, bird.
Oh, no.
Can't even listen.
Poor
I don't
baby
even
duck.
understand. Ooh.
Wah,
Right across the
wah.
tail feathers.
Shake your tail feather. Oh, no.
Oh, hi, Lady J in the chat room.
Hey.
Lady J just snuck in.
Literally.
Wynn says, no way is Casper Richie Rich. Casper has a different canon backstory.
We'll get into that. There was a couple. Like a ninja.
Poor dead
bird. We'll see now all the,
The
other
birds
birds
aren't
aren't
scared.
scared of him.
Don't pout.
Get out
You're
of my head.
funny.
You'd think that they'd be scared of a dead body.
Say
Maybe.
something.
Maybe.
Aw, he's alive.
He's alive.
Turns out birds don't need tail feathers to live. Fancy that. Fancy that.
Oh, look. He's
Aw.
carrying
How precious.
adorbs.
Excellent. Well, that was a good idiot box. I
That was
enjoyed
good.
that.
Good
Definitely.
times, good
Definitely. Did you guys enjoy that in the chat room? I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely hope so. Based on that, Anne-Marie, do you think you would want to be a Casper type ghost?
Nah, it's more fun to scare people.
Yeah, more. I would rather be one that just looks horrific. You
Yeah.
know, bloody eyes and all that kind of stuff.
You already look horrific.
Well, thank you. That's why I put the sheet on so people can't see. Okay, so next up, we're going to go ahead and go into the box theater. So file in and turn off your cell phones. This week, we're catching up with the Scooby Gang. That's right. Today, Scooby-Doo meets Bloody Mary. Now, we're going to play a theme song here from Scooby-Doo. Played by Cosurse on YouTube. I'm going to have the link to his YouTube profile in the show notes for you, too. But okay, I guess we'll go ahead and play this little intro I made here, and then we'll be right back to do a little sketch.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? We got some things to do now. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? We need some help from you now. Come Scooby-Doo, I see you. Pretending you've got a sliver. You gotta feel me 'cause I can see the way you shake and shiver. We got a mystery, so Scooby-Doo, be ready for your ride. Don't hold back. Scooby-Doo, if you believe you're gonna have a Scooby snack, that's alright. Scooby-Doo, here are you. You're ready and you're willing. We come here, Scooby-Doo. I know we'll catch that feeling. I know we'll catch that feeling.
Like today, Scooby-Doo meets Bloody Mary.
As our story begins, the Scooby Gang approach the old castle in a boat they borrowed from Fred's uncle. Unbeknownst to them, a shrouded figure watches through a telescope from a high tower. You sure picked a spooky day to go sailing, Freddy. Look at all this fog.
Cool it, Daphne. It wasn't like this when we started out, and you know it. What could have happened?
Obviously, the diametric pressure of the humidity table circumvented the barometric pressure of the cumulus regions.
Velma, none of that makes any sense. What does it even mean?
It means we're lost in the fog. And it does too make sense. I think. When did you become so crabby?
Zoinks! You called?
No, Shaggy, go back to sleep.
I wasn't, like, sleeping. I was, like, staring at the stars, man.
Are you guys sure this is fog? Shaggy seems pretty spaced out.
Ruh-roh. Maybe we will try ray something through him.
Scooby! You're even worse!
Look out, gang! What, like, happened?
We've run aground. This looks like... Could it be? It looks like we've stuck on Haunted Isle.
Oh no! Whatever it's haunted! Like, yeah, with a name like that, there's gotta be ghost!
Calm down, you two. Everybody knows there's no such thing as ghosts.
First things first, gang. That's Vasquez Castle over there. Let's grab our stuff, then find a room where we can sleep tonight. This fog isn't going anywhere soon, which means my uncle's boat isn't either. Oh.
So the Scooby Gang entered the old castle without incident, minus a painting's eyes following them, which is pretty standard, until they found a room that seemed safe. The gang changes into their jammies, then gathers around in a circle to start telling ghost stories, which most of them love.
Right, roast stories. Like, me too, Scoob. With as much as we, like, run across old coots pretending to be ghosts, you'd think we'd find something else to do for fun. Like eat.
Oh, hush you two, or nobody gets a Scooby snack until morning. Okay, Freddy, who's next?
Well, Velma hasn't had a turn yet. Want to go?
Jinkies, I didn't know you guys were going to ask me. Let me think. I think I have just the thing. Have you guys ever heard of Bloody Mary?
Bloody Mary? What's that?
Years ago, there was a queen named Mary who lived in a castle kinda like this one. She wanted a baby. When she got pregnant, she went bonkers. She'd look at her belly in the mirror for hours at a time. But before she had the baby, her pregnancy ended in a miscarriage.
Golly, Velma, what's a miscarriage? Like, guys, there are just some things you just don't talk about on a kid's TV show.
Chill out, Shaggy. It just means she wasn't pregnant anymore. It kept happening. She'd get pregnant, then lose the baby all over again. Eventually, she'd spend the day standing in front of the mirror, staring into her own dark, sunken eyes.
Maybe reread it a riddle more rake up. Like, when my eyes get like that, I put eye drops in, then grab a super sandwich. Staring at my eyes like that would be, like, freak me out, man.
Wait, you haven't heard the worst part. Before she could get over it, she died from the flu.
Raroo! I'm scared! Roldry Raggy! Calm down, Gain. Velma, this is supposed to be a ghost story. So far, it's just depressing.
Typical Velma. No, I'm not done, gang. Wasn't there a mirror out in the hall? Follow me.
Hey. All right, let's go, guys. Come on, we're going out to the hall.
Hall, hall, hall. Okay, so the legend goes that if one of us looks into the mirror and says her name 3 times, she'll appear in there, then hunt you down till you're dead. Who wants to go first?
Rodri!
Not even for a Scooby snack?
What right won't? All right.
Okay, Scoob. Just stand in front of the mirror, stare into your reflection, then say, Bloody Mary, 3 times.
Zoinks! Like, don't do it, Scoob! Who knows what that sterile spook might do to us? How many times do we have to tell you, Shaggy, there's no such thing as monsters?
If there's one thing we've learned in all of our adventures, it's that.
Like, whatever, man. You freaks do what you want. I'm going over there to, like, up my fog production.
Okay, Scoob, you ready?
Rip! Ruddy Rary. Ruddy Rary. Ruddy Rary! Ah!
Jinkies!
What the hell is that, gang?
Golly, Freddy! Who is that? She has a knife! Oh, golly!
Daphne, no!
No!
No, stay right there, Bloody Mary, so we can see who you really...
She stabbed Freddy! The ghost stabbed Freddy! Oh my god, somebody... Ah!
Raggy, Relma, Rut-Rut-Ree-Roo! Easy, Scoob, like Scram!
How many corridors are in this place? Did you guys see what door Bloody Mary went?
Zoink, Scoob! They got Velma! Guess it's up to us now. Let's, hide in this suit of armor. Maybe this whole freaky happening will, die down. Raggy? Yeah, Scoob? Ruddy Rary is right behind you. Rah! Rah! Zoinks! Kids? Where did those doggone kids run off to? I ain't gonna let this ghost costume dealie I rented go to waste. And ain't nobody shutting down my shizababble. Ah!
There. That's the last of them. Now I, Bloody Mary, can rest once more. Forgive me, old man Druthers. You would have gotten away with everything if it hadn't been for these meddling kids calling me here. Oh well, back to the mirror. I got you, babe. Do 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 do. I got you, babe. Do, do.
And thank you for joining us for Box Theater. That was fun.
Thank you. Thank you.
Scooby-Doo, where are you? We got some things to do now. Scooby-Doo, where are you? We need some help from you now. Come Scooby-Doo, I see you. Pretending you've got a slipper. You gotta fool me 'cause I can see the way you shake and shiver. We got a mystery, so Scooby-Doo, ready for your ride. Don't hold back. Scooby-Doo, feel that you're gonna have Scooby stuck. That's a fact.
And we're back. Thank you guys so much for indulging us. Our little Scooby-Doo skit there. A lot of fun. We're not Ghost anymore, which is good too, because I can actually see.
It can function slightly.
Definitely. And it appears that everyone liked the Velma voices and the Shaggy voices. Sloinks! Yeah, it definitely fries the old throat, for sure.
The going back and forth, I'm like, wait, who am I?
Oh yeah, that's a little hard too. Sometime I'm going to have to figure out some way to get it to where we can switch up the characters on screen as we're talking.
Yay.
We'll get there.
Thank you.
Okay, well, we have a lot more stuff to go over here, but we're just going to go over just a couple little things here first. First of all, I just wanted to tell you guys about my new book out this week. It's a novella. It's called The Trials of King Sparrow. It's an epic fairy tale set against the backdrop of the brutal natural world. It's basically a sort of a National Geographic nature documentary combined with Rambo or something like that. But just to give you guys an idea of it, normally we've been reading the blurb and everything, but I got the first little bit of the audiobook this week, so we'll play you about 30 seconds of that. And if you want to pick this up, audiobook's not out yet, but you can get it, the ebooks.
Just kidding.
But you can get the ebook versions at bit.ly/King Sparrow. But here's a little bit of the audiobook. Here we go.
We flew across the purple skies as the sun sank behind the field below. I veered south, my queen at my side, my captain and squire close behind. The winter wind whipped the tips of our tail feathers. "King Sparrow, when might we rest?" called Captain Sparrow. "Look at our host, see how they whisper to each other. If we don't rest soon, we'll have a mutiny on our hands before we get as far as the Great Mountain."
Yes, the main character is a bird, but the reader I got for it is doing a wonderful job. He has just such an epic voice. But if you want to check it out, it's a shorty. You should be able to sit down and read it in one sitting.
Yeah.
It's $1.99 over on Amazon, and like I said, if you want to get links to it, it's bit.ly/King Sparrow. And Amber, you want to tell them about the Patreon real quick?
Sure. As many of you may know, we also have a Patreon set up right now. Right now, we do 3 weekly video podcasts with the live stream and all the good chatty McChatterstein. Hey, did we get more people? This is a great way for us to make better content, like with the Shaggy and Scooby-Doo thing, where we could have possibly put up the pictures of the characters,
Or had costumes like
or
hats or
had
something.
different hats, or vocal lessons, perhaps. But for
That'd
as
be
little
good.
as 10 cents a month, you can help sponsor this content, and you're going to get exclusive rewards such as some free books, as some of you may have already known.
Yeah, Trials of King Sparrow, you got that for free if you're one of our patrons.
Yes. We also, we're writing letters to people. We're singing songs very badly. We've already hit our first 2 milestones, which means no outside advertisements. And we do a monthly hangout exclusive for our patrons, which, again, lots of singing. We're hoping to hit our next goal very soon, actually, because right now we're at 165.50 with 25 patrons, and our next goal is at 200.
Yeah, we're only like, what, $35 away?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Math isn't our thing. So spread the word. If you want us to do those movie commentaries, the first ones are going to be on Goonies, the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. So head on over to patreon.com/universebox and give us a little monthly pledge.
Yes, definitely. And
Thank you.
thank you so much to our 25 patrons so far over there. We really appreciate you guys and love you guys. And frankly, we want to have your babies, but it's okay if you don't want us to. We understand.
I'm not having any more babies.
Patreon.com.
I'll have some video, I'll make things, but no more babies.
Patreon.com/universebox. Okay, now next up, Anne-Marie, we have the school box here,
school box.
which we're going to learn a little bit about fictional ghosts tonight, right?
Yep, we have some ghosts. Some are from stories.
Bobby says 3450. By the way,
Thank you for the math. Again,
Thanks for the math.
we don't know these things.
Oh,
Whoa.
sorry about that.
What even was that? I don't even know.
That was from the old one.
Oh. Yes, we have some ghosts. Some are from literature. Some are TV, comic books, movies, all sorts of things. And we're just going to give you a quick run. It's just a few. This is not a comprehensive list.
Definitely
under
not comprehensive.
No, not at all.
But definitely feel free in the chat room to go ahead and throw out fictional ghosts that you like that we haven't talked about, too.
Exactly.
And we might talk about them. Who knows?
Perhaps.
Okay, first up are the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and yet to come from A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, a personal favorite of mine. Now, there are 3 different personalities. The ghost of Christmas past is youthful and meant to remind Scrooge of the past. The ghost of Christmas present is jolly and joyful and fat and gluttonous, and shows Scrooge how people are enjoying the holiday. And then the ghost of Christmas yet to come is the Grim Reaper, and shows Scrooge how if he doesn't change his ways, he will die sad and alone. Sadly, basically, they're all used to scare Scrooge straight. They also remind Scrooge that he had a life before he let money rule his life, and that many people live very happy lives with less than he has. Now, actually, I don't know if we've ever mentioned this on the show before, Anne-Marie, but we were both in a production of A Christmas
we
Carol.
were. Please tell me you're not pulling up pictures of that.
No, I don't have any pictures of
Oh, thank goodness.
that. Bobby says in the chat room at the 500 mark, Bill has a baby.
Yes,
Definitely.
absolutely. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah, but I played Bob Cratchit and a bunch of other characters, and you played a bunch of
I
characters.
just played a bunch of bit characters.
Yeah, like you were
I
like
was
the
nobody
charity
special.
person at the beginning and everything.
Yeah, I was writing in a notebook.
But the ghosts are always like they're
and Bobby was Tiny Tim. That
Nice.
makes sense.
but the ghosts are always sort of the fun role to play, right?
Well,
like
yeah.
this is where you put the really like strong character actors for sure.
Exactly. One of my favorite memories of that is and his name Brett Kane. When he was the Ghost of Christmas Present,
yeah.
who's awesome because he's this big guy and
Yeah.
he is jolly and he was just like perfect
Yeah,
for the
he's like
role.
20 feet tall.
Pretty much. 20 feet tall and big, loud, booming voice. He didn't need
Yes,
a mic.
definitely. Okay, so I guess we'll go ahead and move on to our next fictional ghost. Anne-Marie, you want to take this one?
You may be familiar with Casper, the friendly ghost.
If you remember, flashback 20 minutes ago.
Not even. With Casper. He has been featured in comics, television, movies, all sorts of things like we've talked about. He was actually the basis for a 1939 book that wasn't terribly popular at the time.
Like a novel?
Something like that. I think it was like a collection of like short stories maybe, but he was the main story.
That's fun.
It was worded funny. I didn't really catch it. But then the rights to the character were sold to Paramount Pictures, which is what we saw earlier in the Idiot Box. And there's been many different men and women over the years who have voiced the character, but the only person to portray him in live action was Devon Sawa from the Casper movie that Bill just had a picture up with Christina Ricci. And yeah.
Yeah, it did, and you
I do have a
you like
slightly
the guy
funny
who
goose.
played Casper, right?
Well, okay, he was our age, so he was the hotness.
Yeah,
for the 13-year-old set.
Yeah, because when we were talking about this movie, she was like, the Casper movie with Devon Sawa. I was like, Devon Sawa? I only know the one with Christina Ricci. And she was like, oh, yeah, that's
Same
the one. I
movie.
forgot she was in it.
And that's when I was like,
so obsessed with the
boy
ghost.
remembers the girl, girl remembers the boy. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah, definitely makes sense.
Basically. So
Definitely. Okay, so we have another ghost here coming up, and this one, this was my selection. This is a comic book character, and his name is Gentleman Ghost from DC Comics. Now, Gentleman Ghost first appeared in Flash Comics in 1947, but he's butted heads with Superman, Batman, the New Teen Titans, and more over the years. Actually, this screenshot I'm showing on the stream is from the Batman Brave and the Bold episode with Gentleman Ghost. Highly recommended. Really
You'll
good.
get there.
Really good. But he's been shown as being able to teleport a short distance, as in a few rooms, or as far as across states. Gentleman Ghost can also summon spectral weapons, including a cane that can shoot spectral fire and flintlock pistols.
We can thank Wikipedia for these descriptions for me.
During one of his appearances on Batman Brave and the Bold, he has to steal 10 souls to enter the mortal realm, a la Jack the Ripper, with the 10th being that of Sherlock Holmes. He is later defeated, and all of the souls are returned.
I thought that was fun, because Sherlock Holmes.
And yeah, Gentleman Ghost always seems to pop up with characters like, say, like the Justice League Dark, which is all the mystical characters of the DCU. Like, a lot of times, like they'll start a story in media res, and they'll be fighting Gentleman Ghost, who's kind of an easy villain to beat. And it always ends up funny, and he talks very like proper and prim and gentlemanly too. It's a lot of fun.
Okay, next up is a little bit more poppy, The Ring. You may be familiar.
The Ring Girl.
And did anybody else want to watch this? So
trivia.
Trivia?
Our sketch this evening was going to be, first it was going to be Scooby-Doo meets the Ring Girl, and then it was going to be Scooby-Doo meets Jigsaw from Saw, but it wasn't ghosty enough.
That's not ghosty.
So, yeah.
So, basic premise of The Ring is that there's a cursed videotape. If you watch the tape, you're going to get a mysterious phone call that says 7 days, and you're going to die 7 days later, and nobody can explain it. So in the movie, they're watching the tape, and like basically in the opening, and the phone rings. Shocking. While another girl says, "I watched it last week." A reporter hears tale of this, comes in, tries to solve the crime. She goes through the video frame by frame, trying to and discovers the farm where it was filmed, where this well is. Goes there, tries to uncover things. There's a horse farm. Back in the day, the mom couldn't have a baby, so she adopted this child and tried to kill it because it was evil, like suffocate it, throw it down a well. Well, she survived because here she is. But the reporter's son sees the video, like he's like 7 or something like that. She survives the reporter survives the curse, but her son dies, and that's how she realizes the only way to survive is by making a copy of the tape and showing it to someone else.
Nice.
Because she like burned the original.
Yeah, I'm not a huge horror movie fan. I remember liking
I
this
liked
one,
The
though.
Ring. Yeah.
And I also, the second we started talking about it, I started thinking horses in my head for some reason. Yeah. I couldn't remember why exactly, but Bobby in the chat room says, "What about the Gray Ghost, the character that influenced Bruce in the animated series?" Yeah, that's a good ghost character. I don't think he wasn't strictly a ghost. He was basically, it was voiced by Adam West, and he played a Batman type character on TV when Bruce Wayne was going up, that Bruce Wayne was a big fan of. And so that's the Gray Ghost. Okay, next up on our list of fictional ghosts is Hamlet's daddy.
Hamlet's papa.
Hamlet's daddy, from Hamlet by Billy Shakespeare.
Billy Shakespeare.
Now, King Hamlet appears as a ghost 3 times in the play. I remember I was involved in a couple of scenes when I was in Hamlet.
Scenes.
I was Marcellus in that opening scene. The Prince Hamlet, fearing that the apparition may be a demon pretending to be the king, decides to put the ghost to the test by staging a play that reenacts the circumstances that the spirit claims led to his death. His uncle Claudius's reaction is one of the guilt and horror, and Prince Hamlet is convinced that the ghost is, in fact, his father. In the third appearance, Hamlet is confronted by the ghost in his mother's closet. Why is he in his mother's closet? I'm not sure.
I never really got that.
And is rebuked for not carrying out his revenge and for disobeying and talking with Gertrude. Hamlet fearfully apologizes.
I mean, I'd apologize to a ghost, basically.
Yeah, and this is kind of the role if you're in Hamlet, you don't want to be the ghost because the ghost has like 3 teeny tiny scenes.
Yeah.
And he has to talk monotone through the whole thing.
Who was the ghost in Hamlet when we were in it?
James Roy.
Yeah, I remember that now.
You don't remember James Roy.
I remember James Roy. Okay, another spooky ghost is from The Lovely Bones. Okay, see, I haven't seen the movie, so this is new to me. I only read the book. This is a story where a teenage girl in the 70s is raped and murdered, and then sort of her spirit goes to her own little personal heaven where she can watch her family and friends as they're struggling to move on with their lives and come to terms with her death. She basically follows them through their entire life. Like I believe it's her brother or sister that she watches grow up and like date and marry her best friend, something like that. Then the character moves on to a bigger part of heaven where she can watch other parts of the world.
Mega heaven, I
guess. Sure. Where she actually sees the guy Harvey who killed her stalking a young woman, and he gets hit in the shoulder by an icicle and falls down to his death on a snow-covered slope, aka she killed him.
Nice.
So she got her revenge. I had one more. Oh, that was it. I was like, this is pretty much this is the story.
I along the same veins, I would like to do a shout out to the Robin Williams movie, What Dreams May Come.
Yeah.
One of the saddest movies you'll ever see, and just I love it so much. And beautiful too, because the version of heaven he goes to is like a painting. It's like a Monet painting, I believe.
Yes.
Oh, and in the chat room they're mentioning Mufasa from The Lion King. Was a big ghost, and yeah, a lot of people aren't a big fan of horror movies. We aren't either.
We're not.
But the episode's about ghosts, right? So
Exactly. We had to do just a couple things.
Okay, so next up, we're going to open up the memory box because Anne-Marie has a story about a haunted purse.
Okay. Do you believe in ghosts? Do you think that objects can be haunted? I do. Here's a story of how my parents' house is haunted and how I have a purse that occasionally has held a spirit. Okay. So, my parents bought this house when I was a sophomore, junior, whatever, in college. And I would go back to visit. I had my own room, whatever. When I moved home after 4 years at college number 1 and was attending college number 2. Yeah, I was one of those kids. I was just, laying in my room. I think it was late at night. I was probably up reading as I tended to do. And I looked up and I saw the figure of a man in my room. There was somebody like...
It not like an action figure, like...
Right. It was not an action figure. It was not a
silhouette.
Lego. There was a silhouette as close as you are to me.
Nice.
And I just stared at him. Because what do you do when you actually...
For reference.
Like very, very, very close. I wasn't scared, though. I was like, he didn't feel mean or he wasn't trying to kill me. It was just a well-dressed older gentleman. And that was the only time I ever saw him. Probably later that week, I mentioned it to my mom. I was like, hey, so don't think I'm crazy or anything. I was like,
but I'm crazy.
But I saw a ghost in my room. She's like, oh yeah, there's a guy in there. What?
Like she knew about it?
She'd seen him multiple times.
Wow.
Like, I mean, my mom was weird. I love her and all. Love you. But she now is the ghost. But how would she never brought that up to me? And then, like, I was able to describe him, and she's like, yes, I've seen that exact same thing.
Wow.
Which is really creepy. So then, to the haunted purse. Ow.
This is the purse.
This is the purse.
Here, I'll give you the close-up.
This is the purse. This actually was my mom's purse that I stole because it's big, bright, and yellow, and I liked it. And obviously I kept it in my room. So one day I went to school at Cleveland State, and me and my friend Renee were walking up the street. Yes, it's the middle of Cleveland, but it was actually the street where our building was pretty quiet. And I'm just carrying the purse like in between us, and we heard a noise like somebody was talking. There was no one, not a soul around us. And we both just looked at my purse. And we looked at each other and we're like, "Do you hear that?" "Uh-huh." I said, I think my purse has a ghost." She's like, "Okay." And we just kept going. And that's the only time I've ever heard the ghost in my purse. I think he's has to stay in Cleveland. I know that is weird. I know you don't really.
But he was able to like hitchhike a ride out in your
I was in
purse?
Cleveland.
No, but I mean like
Yeah, like I think because this was a possession of the house at the time. What?
Patty has an interesting theory. Patty says maybe she didn't want to frighten you. But then again, she described the guy exactly.
No, I described him to her.
Oh, okay.
I described him exactly to her. Possibly, but I think my mom, I'm actually surprised because my mom liked to tell stories like that. We're very our house is a lot, the Quint side of the family tells a lot of stories, specifically ghost stories. So that actually kind of surprised me that she didn't tell me about it. I don't think my dad's ever seen it, and I don't think my brother has. I should ask Stephanie. This is my brother's girlfriend.
Maybe this creepy old dude ghost only appears to women.
Or the baby, but I can't really ask baby James.
You can't because he doesn't speak English yet.
Yes, he does. Probably not much, though.
Yeah.
He's almost 2. He's almost 2. Sorry, family realization.
We're in the show.
Come back to me.
So-
So there is the story of my haunted purse and how my parents' house is haunted. I don't know who the ghost is. Like, they don't know any of... My mom didn't know any of that. She just knew there was a ghost and he was nice.
Yeah, and Bobby says in the chat room there that sometimes he sees his brother out of the corner of his eye.
See, I'd find that comforting. I hope you do. Because I would love that. Sorry, I know that sounds kind of gruesome, but I would love to be able to even just catch a glimpse of my mom.
Yeah. Okay, so next up, we're going to open up the idea box and ask some questions you guys submitted. As always, every week, if you want to, once you hear what topic we're talking about next week, if you want to give us some questions, some ideas to talk about, you can go to universebox.com/ideabox, and there's this little form right here. You just punch in your idea. I'm just going to put idea. Actually, you know what? I'll put in our first question this week. Do you believe in ghosts? And I'll hit submit. And now it's in there twice because that's where I got this from. So
yes, sorry.
Let's go. So like I said, the first question, Anne-Marie, in the idea box, do you believe in ghosts?
Yes.
You do?
I saw one. We just talked about it.
Yes, we did.
It was an entire segment.
Fair enough.
Bill, do you believe in ghosts? You think I'm crazy. It's
no,
all right.
I don't think you're crazy. I mean, everyone has their own experiences in everything. I mean, if we ever do an episode on UFOs, I have a crazy story for you, too. Like, I'll just say that. That had someone who corroborated, who was there at the time and saw the same stuff. Yeah. Not very trustworthy. But, I don't believe in ghosts, but it's just because I've never seen any compelling evidence that there are ghosts. Yes, but I didn't see the creepy old guy or the haunted. I didn't hear the purse talk to me. The purse hasn't talked to me.
Talk to Renee. I should have had Renee confirm my story.
Oh, hi, Tonda Goss in the chat room.
Tonda!
Yeah, but sadly, I don't believe in ghosts. But I like the mythology, and I really like ghost stories, too, and how a lot of ghost stories are tied to a place. And, there's, like, the story of the people who lived in that place and the ghost people found there after they left and everything. I love that whole aspect of it. Okay, so... let's see here. Okay, the next question is, if you could have a deceased loved one watching over you, who would it be and why? Like, if you could have a loved one who was a ghost following you around, keeping tabs on you.
I guess I kind of just answered this. My mom! And I'm sure she does. I talk to her all the time. I apologize to her all the time for being a terrible, terrible teenager. Yeah, I think she is watching over me because, again, I do believe in ghosts. Though ghosts have to have unfinished business.
Yeah.
It's just like the common knowledge.
That's like the thing.
So I'm assuming that's why I don't see her or she's still at the house. Which, okay, sort of going along with the do you believe in ghosts type of thingy. Another story about my mom. Sorry, it's ghosts.
It's cool.
I don't know if you remember this, but at the exact minute that she passed away, it was like the middle of the night. Somebody's cell phone rang. I think it was actually my dad's cell phone rang.
Yeah, oh yeah, I remember.
You remember that?
Yeah.
And it was like everybody woke up and we were like, okay. It was like that was her goodbye. So sorry to go on a tangent, but it was kind of a ghosty thing.
Oh no, it's totally fine.
And well, you're talking about stuff. So
okay, yeah. As for me, I would say probably my grandma and my grandfather, my pap. Probably just because they were always out of like my entire extended family, they were always the kindest to me. They were always the one that kind of pushed me towards creative endeavors like writing and acting and all that kind of stuff. And so if anyone was going to be watching out for me, I'd say probably them would probably be a good pick, or maybe my dad too.
Yeah,
I guess. But then again, that would probably just kind of cheese me off a little bit because I never got to meet him, and he's standing behind me invisible my entire life. Dad.
But he could have been guiding you to make the choices that you've made.
Very true. Very true.
So there's that.
They've not all been great choices, though. Dad! No, but let's see. In the chat room here, Tandagasa says, I believe in Ghostbusters. Bobby says, matter cannot be destroyed, just turned into another form. Patty also says, as far as like a relative she'd want to watch over, an aunt. And Bobby, probably his grandmother. Angel, probably one of my grandparents. Lady J, my grandfather. Yeah, so grandparents are a popular answer, definitely. Okay, so let's see here. Last question, Anne-Marie. If you were a ghost, what would you do?
I mean, am I a ghost like I'm whacked tomorrow and I'm a ghost, or like in 50 years I die? Like it sort of depends.
Tandagasa says go to Scotland for the big ghost convention.
There's a ghost convention?
Yeah, a convention just for ghosts in the castles in Scotland.
Oh, well, I'm going.
No, but
that sounds fun. No, I feel like I'd fly around. I'd want to see the things I didn't get to see. Visit the people that I don't get to very often. And then I'm going to the big party in the sky.
Yeah.
Kegger.
Okay.
Kegger on my cloud.
As for me, I'd probably fly around for a few months, like messing with people who've messed with me in my life.
That could be fun.
Just for funsies, and because I'm vindictive like that.
A little bit.
And then I'd probably settle down in a library or something and just sit there and read for eternity. Just all the time in the world. Like
I'm having a kegger on my cloud and you're reading in a library.
Well, I'm assuming if I'm a ghost that I'm stuck as a ghost on Earth forever.
Okay.
Because I'm not, I have no idea what my unfinished business would be.
Well, maybe you'd find that in book number 763.
Possibly. Patty says that she would scare people and move objects randomly, changing the TV. Tandagasa also says travel in general, ghost vacation. Angel says probably just watch my friends and family. Non-serious answer, annoy the heck out of people. Bobby says if I was 13, I would probably go to the girls' locker room like an 80s movie.
Oh, Bobby.
The ghostess with the mostest. Just one of the ghosts. Like just one of the guys, but ghost or something. But if you want to submit some ideas for us for next week's topic, please feel free to go over to universebox.com/ideabox.
Can you kick the box over here?
Let's see if I can find it here.
Is it? Okay, just a little bit. Oh, you got it? Sorry, we got to find out what's in the box.
Yeah, what's in the box?
What's in the box?
What is in the box this week?
Oh, the box. Okay. Hold on, the little box opened with the... Okay, ready? Boop-a-doop-a-doo.
Yep. What's in the box?
What's in the box? How many times can we say that?
What could it be now? I hope it's nothing old.
Maybe it's something new?
Everything old is new again. Yes, next week on Universe Box, we're bringing it back. What, you ask? Everything. That's right. Everything old is new again on the next Universe Box. What fashions do you want to see make a resurgence? Have an idea for an Alf reboot? What sitcom sequel are you looking forward to? Tell us why you're buying leg warmers and Jinko jeans. Everything old is new again next week on Universe Box. And just a quick programming note, we're going to be taking 2 weeks off here because I'm going to RegalCon, and then we're wrapping up with some big Once podcast for Greetings from Storybrooke, and then we need an extra week off.
We need a break,
basically,
is what we're asking for.
Yeah, I forget what that date is here. We're not going to be recording May 7th. We will record again May 14th. And that'll be Everything Old is New again. And then we have one more in this cycle.
That's only taking 1 week off.
Is that only... No, that's taking 2 weeks off.
No, next week is the 7th.
Okay, so...
The week after is the 14th.
Okay, so it would
you don't get back until the 11th.
So it would be May 24th.
May 21st.
May 21st. Okay,
May 21st is our next episide of Universe Box. If Bill goes live on the 14th, he's on his own. It's not an episode.
Yeah, probably. But definitely, let's see here. And we're also going to be reaching the end of the cycle of episodes you guys voted on. If you want to vote on new ones, you can just go to bit.ly/ubvote2, and there's a UB vote too. Yeah, and there's a poll there where you can pick from all the topics that we came up with in our patron hangout: compassion, hate and snow, Back to the Future. You can pick up to 5, and we're leaving this open until the next episode, and then we'll solidify it down and everything like that. But bit.ly/UBIdeabox2 to pick the next 15 episodes of a Universe Box.
Sage versus saying we didn't talk about Beetlejuice or Danny Phantom. Those were actually on my list. Both of them for our discussion of ghosts, but I had to narrow it down.
Yeah, again,
there was no way we could talk about every ghost.
Yeah, it can't be comprehensive. It just has to be, what we end up picking up.
Ooh, bring back monocles.
But if you want to send us some ideas or some feedback on the topic, Everything Old is New again, they're remaking everything. What's that?
Bobby, they did say they aren't good at math.
Very true. Very true. But you can email us universeboxshow@gmail.com, tweet us at universe_box. The Facebook is facebook.com/theuniversebox. And the voicemail number, which we almost always play, is 424-274-2352. Again, that's 424-274-2352. And first up, we have a really cool thing from Michael Lucero here. He even sent in some pictures for it. So take it away, Michael. Oh, wait.
I've been really excited ever since hearing y'all were doing an episode on ghosts. I wasn't really sure what to talk about at first. For a while, I did lots of research on Japanese ghost stories, which are really, really creepy and really, really haunting in their own very unique way. If you want to research them, they're called yokai. I'd recommend people Googling that, but that's not what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about my own city, actually, Charleston, South Carolina. It's really known for its ghosts, among other things. There's dozens of books filled with Charleston ghost stories. There's whole walking tours that you can take of the city with ghost themes, and it's to be expected when you live in the Old South, especially with as much history as a city like Charleston has. It's where the Civil War began. It was an important city in the Revolution, and it was the site of a devastating earthquake in 1886. And of course, not to mention the countless lives that were devastated by slavery. Charleston was the entry port for about 40% of all slaves that were brought to America. So a city like this, it's so beautiful and haunting, with as much history, it's gonna have a few ghost stories collected over the years. Just a few off the top of my head that are pretty well known. The Somerville Light. Somerville's a suburb of Charleston. There's this road called Sheep Island Road, and there was this worker who was working on a railroad, and his wife was bringing him lunch in a pail, and I guess she got hit by a car or something, I don't remember. But now they say that if you drive down that road around the time that she was bringing the lunch, you'll see this light that she was carrying, and then it'll fly up above the trees and disappear. On East Bay Street downtown, there's this old building that used to be a warehouse. Now it's a restaurant called South End Brewery, but it's 3 stories, and on the top story there's this big, huge window. East Bay used to be right on the water, so there's this old story that the merchant who owned the warehouse was having a lot of financial trouble, so he took everything he had. He invested in some shipping, and had a ship take everything overseas to sell it. And as he stood looking out that window, he saw the ship burn down, so he hung himself. And apparently, you can still see him in that window on the 3rd story. One of the restaurants on Queen Street has a ghost dog, even, I think. And Edgar Allan Poe was actually stationed at Fort Moultrie, which is pretty near Charleston, and he wrote the story The Gold Bug there. Lesser well-known story, but worth reading. Personally, I've experienced a few things myself I can't really explain while living here. A friend of mine and his wife were visiting from out of town. We went to Folly Beach for dinner and had a few beers on the beach afterward under the moonlight. And we were pretty far away from the pier, so there wasn't very much light where we were sitting in the sand, and there was hardly anybody out that late. We were talking for a while, and gradually each of us kind of became aware of this black shape in the sand. And it was so dark that the sand was already black anyways, so it says a lot that this was itself something that was blacker than black, that we could perceive against the sand. And I kind of felt like it was like crawling or moving somehow very slowly towards us, so slow that you couldn't really actually see the movement. But it didn't really have any discernible shape, but it kind of had a feeling of like substance, and it was kind of coming at us from the direction of the ocean, which made it even weirder. But finally I mentioned it to the other two, and they both said that they'd seen it too, but they weren't sure if they were imagining it, so they didn't want to mention it in case it wasn't real. But as soon as it was mentioned out loud, we all got really freaked out and we left. So I never found out what it was, but it really gave us all a palpable feeling of dread and danger. A year or two later, I was actually talking to the same friend on the phone outside our old apartment, walking around. I can never sit still when I'm having interesting conversations. So I eventually circled back to the building I lived in. And I peered into the corridor where all the apartment doors are, and I saw I must have left the door open because I saw somebody walk into my apartment door. I was only caught a single leg disappearing in through the door, and I thought, and then the door closed behind the person, and I thought, maybe the landlord or a neighbor or something had gone in for some reason. So I'm like, what the heck? And right after. Like literally right out. But there was, I checked every room, every closet, even behind the shower curtains, but there was nobody there at all. So that was pretty spooky. Despite all that, I don't really personally believe in ghosts, at least not in the way that they're defined in pop culture, the remnants of spirits of human beings who have died. I simply just don't believe that that's what happens to human souls after death. But that doesn't mean that the things people see and experience are nothing. There may be something out there that isn't really human, that's kind of minding its own business until we come along and disturbing it. I think something's happening there. I just don't think that it's ghosts in the sense of, human souls left behind after their deaths. One of my favorite writers, C.S. Lewis, he had this really interesting idea in a sci-fi novel called Out of the Silent Planet, where he had these creatures called El Dilla who didn't have like physical bodies, but just kind of were roaming around, minding their own business, and sometimes people encountered them and they had wondrous and scary experiences. I like that idea, but who knows what it is. Either way, whether it's ghosts or something else, whether it's completely real or completely fake, again, ghost stories are one of the best and most memorable forms of storytelling around. So, can't wait to hear the episode, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Thank you very much, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
And always, his contributions are always so well researched and so
his voice is so relaxing.
He's so much better than us.
I know.
And it makes me angry.
Here, you can have my headphones.
He's the new co-host. I'm kicking you off the show. Okay, next up we have a story about a haunted prison from Nicole. You want to go ahead and do the honors on reading this?
Right. Hi, Bill and Anne Marie. I don't have a personal ghost story to share, but the first place that came to mind was Ohio State Reformatory in Mansfield, Ohio. I've been on a few tours through the buildings, and there are plenty of strange stories around the place. They also offer overnight ghost hunts where ghost hunters have access to the building from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. The story I remember most is this one. She pulled this from their website. A year later, in 1950, disaster struck again. This time here in the living quarters of the warden himself. The warden's wife, removing a jewelry box from the closet shelf, dislodged a pistol from its hiding place when it hit the ground. The gun went off, inflicting a fatal wound, and within a decade, even more bad luck. The warden, hard at work in his office, suffered a heart attack and died. All of this nearly 40 years ago or more. And how then to explain the voices shaken tour guides swear they hear today? Man and woman talking, too faint to understand, too persistent to ignore, and chilling to listeners who think they're alone, only to find themselves apparently eavesdropping on the warden and his wife locked forever in an endless conversation from beyond the grave.
Rubber baby, Bobby bumper.
Stop that. There are also plenty of stories about ghosts. Stories of ghosts of guards and prisoners as well. The reformatory was opened in 1896 as a boys' reformatory school, and somewhere along the way became a full-on prison. It closed in 1990. They are going to tear it down, but the buildings caught the eye of some producers, and the Shawshank Redemption was filmed there. Since then, there have been several others filmed here, and I believe a scene or two in Air Force One. A host of music videos, Awake by Godsmack and Go DJ by Lil Wayne, are among them. As well as being featured in several shows like Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures. The tours I went on were all during the day and were focused more on the history and the filming that had taken place. They told a few of the ghost stories, and it was a pretty creepy place, even in the light of day. Lots of peeling paint, narrow stairways, and just the knowledge of the horrible things that have happened within the walls. Going along with that, thank you, Nicole. I've also been to the West Virginia Penitentiary, which is very... Have you ever done that tour?
Yeah, if you guys ever saw the... what was the show on MTV? Fear.
Fear.
The pilot episode was done at the Moundsville
Yeah.
Moundsville Penitentiary.
Yeah, and actually the year I went in middle school for a tour, and it was right around when they did that. So that made it all the more creepy to be there, is because we had just seen, it was on MTV for middle school.
I would just like to point out that Tom DeGassa is going down to the basement while he's listening to this episode, so let's do some spooky noises. Ooh, laundry goes. You didn't use fabric softener sheets. All right, but thank you very much, Nicole.
Thank you, Nicole.
For, again, a very great, well-researched letter there. Okay, next up, Bobby sent in a voicemail titled "The Day I Found My Father Was the Worst Day of My Life." Let's see what this story is about.
The day I found my father was the worst day of my life. The alarm was going off for the fourth time now, so obviously I was late for school, which meant I probably wasn't going in today. And as I lay there half conscious, my brother came in, jumped on the bed, demanding the money I owed him. I explained to him that it would probably have to wait till after work, but he was pretty insistent. "Come on, my friends will ride you, let's go." See, I was the big brother, but you wouldn't know that by looking at us. We were only separated by 16 months, and at 15 he was already over 6 feet tall. He got that from Dad. We were close growing up, spent almost all of our time together riding bikes with our friends from one end of town to the other, all over the neighborhood. But lately we had grown apart. To tell you the truth, he could be a bit of a pain, so when I gave him his money, I was glad to see him go. It was Friday, so after work my friends and I decided to go out. We live in a small town, so going out usually meant riding around for hours upon hours until we realized there was nothing to do in town, so we would just end up going back to one of our houses and just hanging out for the rest of the night. But this Friday, for some reason, we wound up like 15 miles away in the next town over, Sarasota. I think my dad lived here the last time I saw him. I found myself thinking out loud. So after a bit of prodding, me and my friends were now on a mission to find my dad. It had been almost 3 years when my brother and I last saw our dad, but we used to see him every weekend. One year he had fallen on hard times, so when Christmas came, he asked us not to come over. "Guys, I'm broke and I can't afford gifts, so I feel really bad. Maybe next week and, I'll get you and we'll have Christmas then." 2 weeks later, another call. "Guys, I'm really sorry, but things are looking up, so next week." A few weeks later, another familiar call. We really didn't care, we just wanted to see Dad. Eventually, even the calls stopped coming. Eventually, my brother and I just stopped asking when or if we would see Dad again. My friends and I drove to the last place I remember my dad staying. As soon as I exited the car, I was greeted by familiar faces. My dad's friends still stayed there apparently, but he had long since moved. A few of them had some vague idea of where he might be, so after collecting a slew of addresses, we continued our journey. We drove around for what seemed like hours. Each place we went was the same story. "Oh, Bob, yeah, he used to live here, but He moved a while ago. Haven't seen him. Every place we went, they would give us another place to search for him. And just as we were about to end our giant goose chase, we got a clue of a trailer park he might be staying in. So we went to the Orange Trailer Park and asked around. Looking for Bob Hawk. Do you know Bob Hawk? Bob? Big, tall, lanky guy? Yeah, he stays right over there. So my friends followed me to his door for support. And as the three of us approached his trailer, my heart sank to my feet. I would have probably turned and ran had my friends not been involuntarily blocking my retreat. I knocked on the door, almost hoping nobody would answer. When my dad opened the door, we were both left speechless. I think it actually took him a minute to even recognize who I was, but after a few awkward moments, he embraced me and invited us in. There were so many things in my mind, so many questions to ask, like, where the hell have you been? Why did you just stop calling? And don't you realize that gifts don't matter? But I left well enough alone. I was just happy to see my dad again. We talked all night. My dad and I regaled my friends with stories from our past. My friends and I told Dad some stories we probably shouldn't have. And I filled Dad in with what had been going on with my brother David. He was sad that David wasn't with us, but I had promised that I would bring him back soon. I knew that he would be just as excited to see Dad as I was. It was a great night, and I couldn't have planned it any better. All the way home, I just kept thinking, God, how easy was that? Just a few minutes away, and why hadn't we done this before? So much time was wasted out of stubbornness on everyone's part, but it could be different now. David and I would have our dad back in our lives. Wow. So the closer we got to home, the more nervous I got. How would David react? Would he really be happy? And what would Mom think? I mean, Dad had never really been her favorite person. So as I came up the street, I noticed some sort of commotion near our house. There were people all over the yard, and as I got nearer, I noticed there were red and blue lights in the driveway. As I ran from the car, I saw my mom curled up like a ball in the yard. I saw she was holding something, but couldn't quite make it out. It seemed to be a book? I asked what was wrong, but either she couldn't or wouldn't say. She just kept repeating 2 words to herself as she rocked back and forth. He's gone. He's gone. What was she talking about? And as I approached her, I saw that she wasn't holding a book at all. It was a picture frame with a picture of my brother. And again, my heart sank even farther because I knew that I would now have to call Dad and tell him that David wasn't going to make it after all.
Thank you very much, Bobby.
Thank you, Bobby.
That was a really powerful story.
Oh.
Yeah. Give me a minute here.
I just had a haunted purse.
No, but thank you, Bobby.
Thank you so much.
It means so much today that you give so much of yourself and in every one of your submissions, Bobby. We definitely appreciate it. Very, very good story. Very good story. Okay, let's go ahead and wrap things up with
Rebecca did it right in this week, right? I've got enough tears. I don't need Rebecca tears too.
Okay, we'll wrap up with a letter from Patty here. And Patty says, since you guys are doing hauntings this week on Universe Box, I thought it would be a good idea to submit a ghost story that originates from Galicia, Spain. In case you weren't aware, Galicia is located in the northwestern corner of Spain. At one point, it was considered one of the poorest regions in Spain. Nowadays, the people of this region are known for its Celtic heritage, having its native tongue being Gallego, a musical instrument. The musical instrument of choice is bagpipes, and it has its own parliament. This area is different compared to the rest of Spain, and it's also where my father's family originated from. Now that you have some background info, allow me to proceed about the Santa Campana, I think. All those who live in Galicia know to be wary at night, especially when dogs begin to howl and cats begin to flee in pure and utter terror. It is on this night where a ghostly procession that forms two rows who come for one very important purpose. These ghosts who are dressed in white robe and barefoot. Each one carries a candle that leaves a smell of burning wax in the air, and leading this ghastly procession is the Estadia. The Estadia is an unfortunate mortal man carrying a large cross and vessel of holy water that is doomed to forget how he landed in this position as he spends the remainder of his life leading the procession. Unless he can surprise another unsuspecting and unaware victim who will take his place as the new Estadia. With so much uncertainty, one thing is clear: death will follow to those the Santa Campagna visits. Who knows? Maybe they will visit you. Yeah, it's interesting. That's kind of like it's a little bit Dark One from Once Upon a Time, and a little bit who's the guy who pushes the boulder up the rock or up the mountain every day? Definitely. Thank you very much, Patty, for sure. Patty also signs off. According to my research, both men and women have an equal chance of becoming Estadia, and one of the few ways you can protect yourself is if you don't move, lie face flat on the ground. Even if there is poop on the ground, you lie face flat because being a little smelly will be the least of your problems if you become a Estadia. Thank you very much, Patty. And like I said, if you guys want to send in some stories and contributions about the topic, Everything Old is New Again, for the next episode, our email address is universeboxshow@gmail.com. Twitter is @universe_box. The Facebook is facebook.com/theuniversebox. And the voicemail number is 424-274-2352. Again, that's 424-274-2352. And you can also feel free to send in, like, if you want to put a video up on YouTube and send it along by email, we can totally do that. We totally have a capability.
We like videos. We like audio. We like stories, pictures, drawings, doodles, sketches.
All right, so we'll go ahead and leave you with some takeaways here about the topic of ghosts. First off, ghosts are spooky. Our fate after we die is mostly transparent. Never let Velma tell a ghost story. And we've completed our unfinished business, so now we must return to the other side. Ooh, we don't have the sheets on. And Becca says Sisyphus. That was it, right?
What?
Sisyphus was the guy who pushes the boulder up the cliff.
Oh, yeah, Sisyphus.
Okay, so Anne-Marie, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter @DeSimone.
And as for me, you can follow me on Twitter @Bill Meeks. You can find the other podcasts we do, including this one, at universebox.com. And you can follow, I guess I'll plug this one this week, my new novella, The Trials of King Sparrow. Pick it up at bit.ly/King Sparrow. Well, I guess that's about it. That's a really fun episode, and then really powerful ending.
Very powerful ending.
Again, thank you very much, Bobby, for that. Definitely. All right, so I guess that's about it. Until next time,
remember to think outside.
Oof. No offense, Patty. I loved your letter. It was really hard to read, though, after listening to it.
After listening. We didn't know what it... Yeah.
Yeah, well, it came right at the end. But no, Bobby, thank you so much for that story, man.
That was sharing
great.
with us. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and he says, "Great show as always." You're part of that, Bob.
Yeah,
for sure. People miss your voicemails when they're not there. For sure. Okay. Any questions in the chat room before we head out for the night? I'll go ahead and stop the recording and stuff here.
Good call. Do that.
Yeah, I'm still a little verklempt. Mm-hmm. A smidgel bit. Oh. Good stuff. Yeah, we're going to be off for a couple weeks, too.
No, we're off for 2 weeks.
I know.
Yeah, what are you guys going to do on your Thursday nights?
I know, because we're not going to be here, certainly.
Nope.
Although, I don't know. I could see myself maybe, because I'm going to pull an all-nighter Thursday night, because I have to catch an early morning flight to RegalCon on Friday. I could see myself starting up a hangout or something, just for funsies.
I could see that.
I don't know. Keep an eye out. But, yeah, it looks like you guys are wrapped up in the chat room. I think we're about
you guys are all tired. So thank you guys. You have a good weekend.
Definitely. Thank you guys.
Bye.
Night.